is in the position of Mark Perkins. Phil's got an authority. He has a legal ability to haul freight, and Mandy can call Phil and say, Phil, you've got a truck, you've got a trailer, you've got authority. I want you to take my 40,000 pounds of stuff, and I want you to take it to Mandy. Okay, well, let's say that Mandy doesn't have time to go find Phil, right? Mandy's like, listen, I don't want to deal with these truck drivers. John, I want you as a broker, just don't make me think about it. I'm going to call you. I've got a load of 40,000 pounds of stuff. Seth wants it. I want you to find a truck. So now John's the broker. John now has a direct relationship with Mandy. All right, y'all turn and face each other just a touch. All right, I just want to illustrate that their concern is only for one another. They don't care about Phil. They don't really care about Seth all that much, right? They have a duty to one another. The broker to the shipper, and it could be that John says, well, I don't know what it's going to cost. Looking at the market trends, I might be able to move this load for $2,000. Or he'll say, I'll move it for whatever it moves, and I get 15%. It could be anything like that, but they're going to come to some agreement, and so they have a relationship. Now, John turned and faced the other way just a little bit. Now there's a carrier. And the carrier and the broker now have a relationship that does not involve Mandy. Mandy's part of it because Mandy's paying the bill, right? Eventually, somewhere at some point, a bill is going to show up for Mandy, and she's going to have to write a check, regardless of how many people down the line, because of this relationship. Well, now John is like, okay, well, Phil, you have an authority. You have a legal right to haul freight. You have a truck and a trailer. He's never going to tell Phil what he paid or what Mandy paid him. He's going to say, well, Phil, what do you do it for? Supply and demand kicks in, and if there's a number where there's a willing producer and a willing consumer and they come to an agreement, number one, it's nobody else's business. It's not even really Mandy's business all that much, but she's going to write the check, so she's going to have some connection and probably know what John paid Phil to move that load. All right? Now, Phil as a carrier, he could either have his own trucks and drivers, or let's say instead of being a guy like Mark, let's say Phil is Landstar. Now, Phil can go to John and say, or he can even go to straight to Mandy and say, look, I got 10,000 BCOs. I got all these trailers. I got this huge network, and I have another unknown number of approved carriers, right? I have all of these trucks at my disposal, so either he can talk to John or he can talk to Mandy, either one, and say, I can cover your needs because look at all these trucks I've got, look at this network. So here's where the confusion comes in. The shipper is going to hire C.H. Robinson to move that freight, so she don't have to fool with it, right? Everybody clear on that? C.H. Robinson is going to say to Landstar, all right, we're going to move this load for $2,000. All right, now Richie, I want you to come stand here. It doesn't matter if Richie is an approved carrier or he is a BCO, he's the same thing, because Landstar has either a relationship with Wes as a BCO, or they have a relationship with Mark as an approved carrier. Now, Wes has a contract with Landstar that says, we'll give you 65% to your truck, we'll give you 7% to your trailer, and this is the deal. Mark, it's a different story, it's a different contract. Mark is going to call Phil. Hey, Phil, I see that Mandy's got a load going over to Seth. What you got on that? Well, Phil cannot pay more than what John's going to pay. So let's say John's paying $2,000, right? John says, all right, Phil, I'm going to give you $2,000 to move this freight. Well, the BCO split is already set, because whatever the customer is paying Landstar, that's what that BCO truck's going to be paid off of. But if Mark calls, and I've watched this happen, hey, are you a BCO or approved carrier? Oh, you're approved carrier? Times 0.85. Okay, that load's paying $1,600. Right? Same freight bill, same billing. Landstar is going to bill him for $2,000. The approved carrier is going to get X. The BCO is going to get 65%, period, end of story. There is never a scenario where this guy can take some of this guy's money and put it in his pocket before he goes to the BCO. Does that help clear up some of this misunderstanding about how the money flows? Any questions about that? All right. Landstar disincentivizes agents. This is my understanding. Disincentivizes agents from using approved carriers as much because Landstar takes a bigger piece of the agent's money. Okay? So let's say in this scenario, Seth's going to stop being the consignee, he's going to be a BCO, and Richie's approved carrier. And Phil says, well, man, this approved carrier's an idiot. C.H. Robinson's paying me $2,000, and this fool is going to take it for $800. What happens to the $1,200? Landstar gets most of it. So they're not incentivized. You know, if it paid $2,000, well, that BCO is going to get 65% of that. The approved carrier may or may not. We always, though, have to remember that supply and demand is at play here. This idea that because the rates shoot up to $5 a mile, that the agent or the broker, the person in the middle, can just take more. No, because he's demanding more, and he's demanding more, and he's demanding more, and at some point he has to go to her and say, 2,000 ain't gonna get it. I can't find a single truck. Nobody will call me on your load. So if you want your load to go, you better get out that checkbook. Right? All of these relationships are dynamic, but these two have a relationship that doesn't involve him. These two have a relationship that doesn't involve them. These two or three have a relationship that doesn't involve them. So the big picture I'm trying to get through here is John is Phil's customer. Is Mandy important in this? Yeah, she's going to load the truck. But you have got to stop focusing everything in your life on the man in the mirror. Because you are not the most important piece in the chain. You are an important piece of the chain. Without the driver, without the truck, without the... Yeah, that's true. But you are not the most important piece. Really, the consignee is. Because the consignee, through the consumer, is the one that lights this fuse that makes all of this happen. Without the consumer calling the consignee, who calls the shipper, there's not a load anyway. But you've got to stop focusing as though these guys on the end are the only ones that matter. Well, I'm the truck driver and I deserve... No, you don't. You deserve what any of these people altogether can afford to pay you. And a lot of that depends on all of these factors about inflation, about market supply, demand, capacity, volume. All of this stuff's dynamic, and it can change on any given day. We can see that sometimes, I mean, the Midwest was a black hole this week. I sent 2 trucks to the Midwest, and it was like, tumbleweeds. I mean, it was just nothing. But then I sent a truck to Detroit, and there was 90 loads, you know? And then the next time it shifts, and I can go to the Northeast and go to Massachusetts and not have an issue, and then the next week there's nothing. You know, and I got a deadhead 200 miles just to get a piece of garbage to jump me to the next place, okay? So I just want everyone to remember, your customer's the first and closest person to you. Treat them with the respect and admiration that they deserve, until they don't. Because sometimes you have to fire a customer. We did a whole episode on that. Sometimes you have to say, you know what, we did it with an automotive place. It was Kerry, you know. Kerry and another guy were on this dedicated run, and they screwed us big, and we went, you know what? No, thank you. There's plenty of other customers. Does this help with this understanding of seeing how this relationship? Just always remember where you're at, and it's usually not at the top. Everybody good? All right, thank you, y'all. Appreciate y'all.